Hi, I'm Tom Hurley. Along with my colleagues Sam Rose, Lenny Rather, and Christopher Country Brown, we make up the Video Learning Enhancement Group. We invite you to join us for a few minutes and watch the following clip to learn more about how education is evolving in the collection system discipline. We would like to share a vision for building an online training library. The goal is to develop something that's simple to use and basic enough that anyone who's ever done a presentation can just follow a simple template to create lessons themselves. Collection system people have demonstrated over time to be trailblazers, and today we're going to ask you all to continue this legacy by embracing this opportunity. This is a simple adaptation of a proven model. It's taken straight out of the YouTube playbook. We have dubbed this sewer tube. The shift from baby boomers and Gen X and millennials illustrates the need for embracing the opportunity that tablets, smartphones, and laptops present from the tech device perspective, learning anytime and anywhere. We want you to join us in building a virtual classroom that will mirror the format and style of the CWA study guide, using the same term, structure, numbering system, etc., with a simple index in a matrix form. Everything in a logical sequence in a descending order of lessons. Well, if it sounds like a steep learning curve, it's not. Quite by accident, we developed the building blocks of this library over time by simply creating presentations. That's right, we probably have better than 80% of the material we need to kick this project off. Obviously, you're wondering exactly how does this work? Well, if you've ever created and saved a PowerPoint presentation, you're already an educator. We're talking about supplying your voice or someone else's if you prefer, and dropping it into your presentation as an audio file. It's pretty much just that simple. Short, concise, targeted lessons that can be reviewed as often as needed. An hour talk is too long, especially when you're only after a certain amount of specific material. So we're going to ask you to consider editing some of that great content you put together and making that hour-long presentation into individual mini lessons, 10 lessons of 6 minutes each. This works well for everybody, for contributors and for learners. You know, there's a reason that YouTube places a limit on duration. We all have a limited attention span. We think it makes logical sense to boot. Now there's the obvious application with TCP, but there's no reason that some of this material cannot be used for training shorts or to jazz up your meetings, tailgates, etc. Sound compelling? It should. We actually think this might be game-changing. We're going to provide the templates. You just drop in the information. From the learner's perspective, just go a slide at a time or let it roll with timings, whatever works. As it is basically self-paced. Didn't take the first time? No problem. Just hit the start button again. Add graphics and video wherever you deem it appropriate. Just keep those video clips to around 15 seconds. We're not in the movie business here. We're just trying to do a little educating. Now, if you have lessons with math, they're likely going to take longer time just due to the continuity and the flow of math. It's completely understandable, we're on board with it. But all others, keep them short, 5 to 6 minutes, and include a lead-in, some references, and a final slide. In a moment, we'll kind of show you what that looks like. But basically, the content will include some of the following. Now, we can build this graphics library, we think, in pretty short order. You're probably asking yourself, well, who's going to decide what's going to go up on this website? Well, if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say most likely those serving as current or past subject matter experts, item writers, local committee members, chairs, who knows? We'll figure this out as we go along. Now, what if you're a potential contributor, but you're not real tech savvy, but you're very sound in the other aspects of this? Well, we envision matching up those that know why with those that know how. So if you have a lot of years in and a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, but are not tech savvy, we're going to partner you up with those that have the opposite skill set. How about a timeline? Well, that's kind of hard to say, but once the details are worked out, I don't think it would be unreasonable to see this coming to life in short order. It's a matter of just blending organization, collaboration, and cooperation. Well, there you have it. That's the proposition. In a second, you're going to see an example of how this would all likely come together. So here's the subject, safety. Our slides are going to start out and they're going to all follow some kind of a logical template. But you start out with the classification so we know where to drop the material. In this case, it's going to be for collection systems. Maybe you'll drop in a logo that's relative to the topic. You're going to pick a category. In this case, we're picking safety. Underneath that, of course, there's a bunch of subcategories. In this case, the subcategory description would be PPE and engineering controls. At the bottom left, maybe you put the presenter or developer's name. At the bottom right, you put in a slide number. And if applicable, if it's part of a short series, say 1 of 3 or 2 or 3, you put that in there. You also let people know how many slides there are. In this particular case, we're going to keep this short. But next up, we're going to jump into the lesson itself, and you'll see an example of how this would unfold. So after you've completed the lesson, you're going to provide a post-lesson slide, and we'll explain exactly what that means momentarily. So here's a question. The best option for controlling loud noise in a work environment is earplugs, earmuffs, engineering controls, or both A and B. Now, if you're a learner, you would want to stop at this point to kind of mull this question over and try to decide which answer is the most appropriate. When you're ready, you can advance the slide. So the best option for controlling loud noise is engineering controls. We were looking for the best option. Clearly, they were all options, but only one was the best one. And the reason for this is simple. Engineering controls are the best and the first option. Relying on PPE should not be the go-to. You know, not everyone wears it properly, and some don't even use the most appropriate equipment. But let's see what OSHA's take on this is. Using a personal protective equipment is often essential, but is generally the last line of defense after engineering controls, work practices, and administrative controls. Engineering controls involve physically changing a machine or work environment. Administrative controls involve changing how or when workers do their jobs, such as scheduling work and rotating workers to reduce exposures. So you had it straight from OSHA, but we didn't come up with this ourselves. The information comes straight out of the Office of Water Program Study Guide for Collection System Volume 2, and it also obviously comes directly from the OSHA website as well. So you're going to wrap up your slides by underscoring what the resources are that are available, where to find the information. Maybe you'll include a summary slide that will kind of leave that one up to the developers, but just try to be as specific and detailed as possible. Every lesson should have a takeaway. Don't lend your opinion, stick with the facts, stick with the sources. Maybe at the end of this, possibly a teaser or a setup for the next in the series. And that basically is it. Thank you. Fucker, you rotten.